You know the moment. The sky turns gray, the first drops tap the window, and a strange thing happens. One person groans and cancels plans. Another person exhales, opens the window a little wider, and feels something loosen behind the ribs. The weather is exactly the same. The light is exactly the same. The sound is exactly the same. Yet one person feels punished and the other feels met. That split is not really about the rain. It is about a hidden psychological response that starts long before the first drop falls. Here is the core idea. Loving rain is rarely about water falling from the sky. It is about what rain does to attention, memory, arousal, and the sense of safety. The love is built inside us. And once you see how it is built, the gray sky stops being a mystery and becomes a mirror. Think back to a rainy afternoon in childhood. For many people, rain meant the world got smaller and softer. School might be canceled, or the house lights came on in the middle of the day. Someone was cooking. The outside became a dull silver screen, and the inside felt warmer by contrast. If you were lucky, rain was paired with relief. No yard work. No pressure to perform, just the sound of water and the hum of a kitchen. Your brain noticed that pairing. This is the first mechanism. Psychologists call it classical conditioning. A neutral stimulus, rain, becomes linked to an emotional state, calm or safety, because the two happen together again and again. Years later, when adult rain arrives, your nervous system does not wait for a weather report. It reads the low light, the damp mineral smell, the hush before the storm, and it triggers the old emotional weather. You are not consciously remembering the kitchen. You are feeling it in your shoulders, your breath, your desire to sit near a window and do nothing. That is why some people love rain without being able to explain why. The love arrived before language did. But conditioning is not the whole story. There are people who grew up in dry, sunny places with no warm, rainy kitchens in memory and still feel drawn to rain. So something else must be at work. It has to do with attention. Rain does something unusual to your senses. It fills the air with a steady, textured sound, soft gray light, moving water, and a slight blur. Most environments either demand your attention with sharp alerts or bore you with dull stillness. Rain sits in between. It is interesting enough to hold your eyes on the window, but gentle enough not to grab you. Psychologists who study attention restoration call this soft fascination. It is the kind of stimulation that lets a tired mind recover instead of drain further. Imagine your attention as a muscle that has been gripping all day. Notifications, decisions, bright screens, other people's moods. Rain loosens the grip. It provides a continuous background like a slow breath that does not compete for meaning. The sound of rain is especially powerful because it is broad and steady. It masks sudden noises, smooths the edges of a noisy street, and creates a private acoustic space. In that space, many people report thinking more clearly or feeling less watched. The world is still happening, but it is happening behind a curtain of water. There is a third layer, and it is the one most people get wrong. We often assume a rain lover is a sad person who wants the weather to match a low mood, but the psychology is more generous than that. Rain does not simply mirror sadness. It gives sadness a container. On a bright, busy day, feeling low can feel like a failure. Everyone else seems to be moving fast, and the sun seems to accuse you of not keeping up. Rain changes the social contract. The street's empty. The tempo drops. It becomes acceptable to slow down, to stay quiet, to make tea, to stare out a window, to feel something without having to fix it immediately. For many people, that permission is not about being miserable. It is about being allowed to stop performing. Picture the difference between crying in a crowded, bright room and crying beside a rain-streaked window. The tears are the same, but one scene feels exposed and the other feels private. The rain does not fix the sadness. It makes a small boundary around it. That boundary can feel like dignity. There is also a quieter bodily effect. Rain often arrives with a slight drop in temperature, a change in air pressure, a distant rumble. Your body may register a small wave of alertness. If you are safely indoors, that alertness has no threat to attach to, so the brain has to label it somehow. In a cozy, quiet room, a racing heart can be read as pleasant anticipation rather than fear. The body provides the energy. The situation provides the meaning. Psychologists sometimes call this misattribution of arousal. The same physical activation that might feel like anxiety in a dangerous storm can feel like aliveness in a safe one. Now shift to the opposite side of the same weather. If rain can feel like relief, why does it feel like a weight to someone else? The answer is not that one person is more sensitive or romantic. It is about what the rain takes away. For a person who needs control, sunlight, or forward movement, rain is a disruption. It cancels plans, darkens rooms, slows traffic, and shrinks the day. If your mood depends on activity or bright light, rain removes your usual tools. That can feel like being trapped. The same soft fascination that restores one person can feel like stagnation to another. The difference is not in the sky. It is in what each person is using the weather to regulate. To be fair, biology plays a part. Sunlight helps regulate sleep and mood, and long gray stretches can lower energy in some people. But the striking thing is how varied responses are under identical clouds. One person opens the window, another closes the curtains. Neither is wrong. They are each managing an internal climate. Culture adds another layer, and it often works on us before we notice. Think of how films use rain. A character stands in rain after a loss, and we are taught that the sky can carry feeling. A quiet rainy street signals intimacy, a pause, a secret. Romantic scenes happen under shared umbrellas. Memory and media mix together. Over time, many of us absorb the idea that rain is not just weather. It is a setting for meaning. This is not fake nostalgia. It is social learning. We learn what emotions a weather event is allowed to hold. And then, when real rain comes, we unconsciously step into that script. We expect the day to feel a certain way, and expectation shapes experience. Consider two people on the same rainy morning. Maya keeps a playlist of rain sounds and uses it to focus. Daniel hears rain and immediately cancels his run, then feels dull all afternoon. The difference is not that Maya is a pluviophile and Daniel is not. Maya has learned to use the steady sound as a signal for deep work. Daniel has learned to read rain as a loss of plans. Both are responding to learned meanings, not to water. That is why a single rainy day can be rest for one person and regret for another. Here is the practical turn. If loving rain is built, then you can understand your own response better. The next time rain arrives and you feel either relief or dread, ask a simple question. What is this weather doing to my attention, my memories, and my sense of control? You do not have to pathologize it. A love of rain is not a disorder. It is often a healthy way of seeking calm, privacy, and emotional permission. But if rain consistently makes you feel worse, that may be a signal about what you need more of on sunny days. Movement, social contact, light, or a reason to get out of bed. The strange beauty of rain is that it is completely neutral. It falls on the just and the unjust, on the lonely and the content, on the one who smiles and the one who braces. What changes is never the water. What changes is the inner architecture each of us has built around it. And the people who love rain are not really in love with a storm. They are in love with the quiet room it creates, the permission it gives, and the memory it returns to them. Rain simply opens a door that was already there.